with the health. Cholera is like COVID. It's an international condition. You need to use about 80% of copper and 20% CO2. Use very, very small amount of magnesium, maybe 1%. Use about 5% by weight of salt of the copper, and a slide or whatever amino acid you capture over your what we call the copper. Use the water of the gans with a very, very small amount of the gans itself into large containers or as a spray. And always let it to settle and take the, whatever it is, the food or whatever you put. Wash your, what we call foods, whatever it is, in the water continuously. Cholera does not need anything else. It's like malaria. We overcome malaria, and many of our knowledge seekers in Africa use it. Can you go on the Wikipedia and show us what cholera is? Because a lot of people hear it by name, but they don't know actually what it is, what it does. Okay. You mix by weight 80% of the copper gans. Never use zinc when it comes to fighting things like this, because zinc gives comfort to what we call the material, whatever is made. It is, what do you call it? You have to understand the difference between parasite, germs, and viruses. And if you work with parasites, if you work with that kind of level of microbes, you need to avoid under any circumstances zinc. So copper does not work. It's not the solution. You have to be able to understand the whole process of what is and how things work.
Cholera is an infection of the small intestine by some strains of the bacterium Vibrio cholerae. Symptoms may range from none to mild to severe. The classic symptom is large amounts of watery diarrhea that lasts a few days. Vomiting and muscle cramps may also occur. Diarrhea can be so severe that it leads within hours to severe dehydration and electrolyte imbalance. This may result in sunken eyes, cold skin, decreased skin elasticity, and wrinkling of the hands and feet. Dehydration can cause the skin to turn bluish. Symptoms start 2 hours to 5 days after exposure. Cholera is caused by a number of types of Vibrio cholerae, with some types producing more severe disease than others. It is spread mostly by unsafe water and unsafe food that has been contaminated with human feces containing the bacteria. Uncooked shellfish is a common source. Humans are the only known hosts for the bacteria. Risk factors for the disease include poor sanitation, not enough clean drinking water, and poverty. Cholera can be diagnosed by a stool test. A rapid dipstick test is available but not as accurate. Goes on to say about prevention methods. Do you want me to continue?
No, it says good enough. As I said to you, the reason is it's a bacteria. You can't give it Zen because otherwise it feels good and expands. You use the CO2 to create a connection. You use the copper because a heavy element in absorbing the energy of the, what we call the living elements of it. And it literally has a disinfectant property. As you read there, it creates vomiting and everything else. Whenever you vomit, you lose large amount of magnesium. And that leads to the next vomiting, and then weakens the next vomiting, and more water you lose. So in this condition, you need to use magnesium to replace the magnesium lost by vomiting, and then within a few hours, you see the signs of recovery. But in general, you add this mixture to the waters, and you wash your vegetables and hands and whatever till the situation over, because it doesn't have a long life. It has a very short life. So cup 1 is the worst thing you can use. Cup 2 still has some mixture of the what I call the zinc in it. You might not see a good success rate, and it's a straight copper oxide, CO2, amino acid of copper oxide, and what you call a slight amount of magnesium gas. And you should see quite a rapid development in this. This is it's very much like what we see with COVID, what we allow to. Now you need to make a CO2 gas unit, a copper gas unit, and a magnesium gas unit. If you can't get hold of magnesium as to make gases, crush magnesium tablets if you can get hold of, leave them in CO2 or to your mixture for about 3-4 hours, maybe a day, and then that becomes itself, you can use as a gas. But make sure you don't, what do you call it, consume any of the gases themselves. It's always gas water. But if you use it to disinfect waters, you have to use some of the gas itself. The research has shown this is to be very effective in that way.